we will start with the syntax changes first, and in syntax changes also we will start with let, var and const. So what is let? With let, first we will see let. With let we are finally able to use block scoping in JavaScript, which was been demanded for a long time because it is there in all the modern languages. So to check all these things, we will use a very good tool known as JSBin. So what this JSBin does, we can have this HTML, CSS, JavaScript and console, everything here only. So like this HTML, CSS, JavaScript, console and output, we can have all these things. If you log into JSBin, you don't even have to log in or register to use it. So what we will use right now, we will use only JavaScript and console, because we don't need any HTML and CSS for that, for what we are learning right now. So first let us see var and let. So var is from the starting of JavaScript. So var, let me say first name Bindu, and I can console.log first name, and in JSBin we have to run it. So run it, Nabindu will come. So this is something, some behavior which was there from the starting. So let last name equal to, see I can use double quotes also and single quotes also, it doesn't matter. This was console.log last name. Let me clear it, run it. So this was is also coming, but the main difference is now it is function scope. Var is actually function scope and not block scoped. So let me write a block. So block means anything like if statement or anything like that. So var age equal to 20. So ideally this 20 var age should not be accessible outside, but let's see, console.log age, clear. Let me hide it. So let me run it. So see 20 is appearing. It means that var is accessible outside also, because so this scope has no meaning to var. So var is functional scope. Let me show you what is functional scope also. Functional scope means if this function is there, anything, let me call it var sc, and let me cut it and let me put it inside. So now if I try to access this age, what will happen? Now it is inside this scope also, which starts from here to here. Now we will get the error that it is not accessible. So this is known as functional scope and not block scope. So now let me comment out this also, and now let me show the benefit of let. If true again, let age equal to 38, console.log age, clear it, run it, and it will give me the error again that it is not accessible. Let me cut it and let me paste it here, and see it is accessible. So it is block scope, it is not accessible outside this if statement. So this is what we want to tell by block scope. This was demanded in the language for a long time. So you might think that the creators, the ECMA committee could have changed the functionality of var and make it like this, make it like let, means these things they could have given. But one of the main problem with JavaScript is that JavaScript runs almost all of the web. So what happened if they change this functionality? And web is very old, it is from 1996, even older than that, but most of the web will break because a lot of people have used it in a function scope and a lot of code will break if they suddenly change the feature. For that only they created this let, a totally new variable. So the new JavaScript which is written, it is written like this, and I have seen at most places nowadays let only is used and var is not used. So with let, this ECMA committee released one more thing which is known as const. So what is const? Const, we cannot assign new values to a variable after the initial declaration as it says it, because it is a constant, but that is only valid for primitive types like integer and strings, and not for non-primitive like arrays and object. In that we'll see the difference soon. It's better to show it in JSON. So let me go there, let me do one thing, delete this thing, and const first age equal to 6, console.log first age, clear the old thing, run it, it will run. But what first age equal to 8, if I do, I'm resigning it and it will throw me the error. So this is not allowed. The same thing with string also we can do. So the same things happens with a string also, but the main behavior, let me show. Child, let us have an array of ages 5, 6, 8 and 10. Console.log child ages, let me comment this also out, and so it will display this array like this. Okay, so one thing which is not allowed I will show again, and it is child ages equal to 5, 6, 8, 10, 12. Suppose I want to change, oh I forgot to give this. Suppose I want to change it like this. So it will again give me error. So it is not allowed, just like what we have seen in the integer and the string. But what is allowed is to use the push or something and add something to it. So as we know, to add something to the end of an array, what we do? Child array dot push. Let me push 12. Now again let me have this console.log, let me clear it, run it. See, this console.log printed this. Let me remove this also, this, and this console.log, it just pushed this 12 to the end and it got printed, so no error is there. So this is, we are allowed to do something like this, add an element to an array. Now let's see object, because object also we are allowed to do this kind of thing. So let me make an object, name is Nabendu, skill is JavaScript, console.log person obj. Let me comment this out, clear, run, and it will show this object like this. And now what is allowed actually, let me show. Dot skill, we can even change a key value, our keys value, this skills value also we can change. Let me make the skills to React now from JavaScript, And now let me clear it and run it. So see the skill. Oh, I did some spell mistake. Okay, let it be. So this is also allowed, as you might see. So let me do it again. Skill. So let me run it. So see, so it got updated from JavaScript to React. So this is allowed, and one more thing is also allowed. I will show you that. Person obj dot profession. See, we are allowed to add another key value pair also in this object. Developer. Now if I do this, let me clear it, let me run it. See, this profession also got added. So you might think that what the use of let. We can use const also. Yes, we can use const at most places only. So it is a very good practice to use const at most places. Only let we should use for variables like integer and string, which we are going to change. But at most places with arrays and object, we should mostly use const only. So this is what it is there. So now there is one more thing which I will tell. That is a small concept which is known as hoisting. Hoisting is that var can be used in var variables before declaring them. With var we can use variables before declaring them, but with let we cannot do that. So this was also another issue with var. So let us see the issue with var, the hoisting issue with var. So hoisting is like age equal to 36 console.log of age and var age. So if we do like this, we clear it and let me run it. See, it is happening. So what happened by hoisting? What means we wrote it like this, but what JavaScript will do while compiling, it will move it to the top. It will internally do this, and this led to a lot of issues in JavaScript, and a lot of code used to break in the older days, and it was very big issue to fix the bug for these things. So this was an issue, and this was solved by let. As you might have already understand what let had done. So let me do that. Last age equal to 30. So this behavior is not allowed in let anymore. Console.log last age let last age. Let me comment it. Okay, let me clear it and let me run it, and it will give me the error. So I have to cut it and paste it above. Now only it is allowed, and it is allowed. So this completes our first chapter. See you in the second chapter.